Heavenly Father, again we open the doors wide of our school and invite you in. Come, Holy Spirit, and take your place. Thank you for being in our lessons and helping us concentrate, for helping us to learn and allowing us to be the best we can be. Thank you, Lord, for filling us with happiness as we have discovered more about the world we live in. Lord, you have allowed us to dream, allowed us to believe, and allowed us all to achieve. You have been faithful in watching over us and protecting us as we work, run, and play. Please come and be a part of everything we do today. In your holy and wonderful name, Jesus. Amen. Please stand.
I bid you all a very special welcome to this very special occasion. And as you know, this is a very different celebration today, but nevertheless it is still a celebration. We would have had a combined prize giving with the grade 7s, and that would have happened tomorrow, but in a way this could even be more special for you, because this is a celebration of grade 5 and 6 excellence. So I bid you welcome to this occasion. I'm going to be giving you a very short message. I don't think today is all about speeches. It's more about the prize winners and those that have excelled during the course of this year. But before I get on to the message, I want to just emphasize what Mr. Lauter has said. Well done to you all. I spoke earlier this morning at the celebration for the grade 1s, And we were so proud of our grade ones, but not only them. We're proud of every single one of you. It's been a very difficult year for you. You've had to adapt. You've had to work online. You've done it admirably. Well done, grade 5s and 6s. You've also had to adhere to the COVID protocols. Wearing of masks, very strange. Sanitizing, I think that one was a lot easier for us. But the most difficult of the lot is to social distance. You're all friendly with each other. You boys, particularly at break time, you want to get a ball and you want to go and play. And you've all done this admirably. So we are proud of you, grade 5s and 6s, all of you. From my side, and I know I speak on behalf of the entire school, or the entire staff, thank you for your efforts this year. We are proud of you, and I think it's going to be a year that you're going to remember for different reasons. Remember our theme for the year, dare to be brave, dare to do things differently. Very, very appropriate this year. We've been incredibly brave, all of us, and we've done things differently. So well done to all of you. As I said earlier, I and the staff are incredibly proud of your achievements. And as was said earlier, if you don't get a prize today, it doesn't mean that you haven't achieved. You've all made good progress in your own way throughout this difficult year. So what I'm going to tell you now, just listen carefully. It's a little story about a water carrier. This chap he had a house about 2 kilometers from the river, and he carried pots every single day down to the river. So he had, if you can imagine, he had a stick, quite a thick stick on his back, carried it like this, and on this side he had a pot, and on that side he had a pot. And he would walk down along a specific path every single day, down to the river. He would fill these 2 pots up with water, and he would take them back to his house, and that would be the water for him and his family on a daily basis from a very clean water source, the river. And the difference was, or the problem was, one of these pots had a little crack in it. And this pot leaked all the way, every single day. So we got one pot that had a full amount of water in it, got back to his house, poured that. They used that to wash and so on, and the other pot was half full. And the pot that was cracked was very embarrassed about the situation. And after quite a while, he went and spoke to the man, to the water carrier, and he said this, after 2 years, he spoke to the water carrier, and he said, I'm ashamed of myself, and I want to apologize to you. I've only been able to carry half of my water because it leaks out the crack all the way back to the house. So the pot was feeling very, very sad and ashamed. That's what he said to the water carrier. But listen to this one. The water carrier replied, did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path? So just imagine the path was walking like this, and on the one side all the way, because that pot was always on this side, there were flowers on your side. That is because I've always known about your crack, and I planted little flower seeds so that you could water them when I walked home with the little leaks that were coming out of the pot. For 2 years, I have picked those beautiful flowers from your side of the path to decorate my table at home. Without you just being the way you are, there would not have been this beauty in my house. In other words, you were perfect the way you are with that little crack, because you could water the little seeds that I planted and make beauty as such on the table at my home. That's the end of that little story, but what does it mean? There's a little meaning. Each of us has our own flaws, like that pot. We are not perfect in every single way. Some of us, we are all like the crackpots, but some, there's the cracks and the flaws we each have that make our lives together so very, very interesting. We must appreciate and we must accept all the different people around you with their flaws, their cracks, whatever it might be. We need to accept them. We need to take each person for what they are. We are all individuals, and we need to respect each one of them. And take the positive, the water carrier. He could have been very negative. He could have said, well, I could have come home every day with 2 pots of water. I only come home with 1.5. This pot is useless. This pot has no right to be here. But no, He found the positive in that cracked pot. He planted some seeds, and they were watered beautifully every single day, and the flowers were then put on his table. So he saw the positive in that situation. Always look for the good in each other, even although we've got flaws. Okay, because it is the good side, there is a good side to every single one of you. So remember that. If you see someone's got a little flaw, remember the water carrier and his pots and try and see the positive in it. There's a motivational speaker called, he then focuses on teams. His name is John Shipp, and he said, you either get bitter or you get better. This is about your flaws. It's that simple. You either take what is being dealt to you and allow you to make it better, or you allow it to tear you down and you always worry. It doesn't matter what it might be, that little problem. Try and see the positive in your little flaws and in your friend's flaws and see a good reason for it. Remember, the choice does not belong to fate. The choice in this, the choice belongs to you. So hopefully you're going to remember the water carrier when you see flaws. We all have flaws, and see the positive in each one of you. And I wish you a wonderful holiday. We've still got a few days to go. I wish you a wonderful holiday. Thank you for all your hard work this year. Let's enjoy a wonderful time, family time together, and we look forward to 2021. Hopefully 2021 will be far more normal than 2020. Thank you.
Good morning, boys and girls, staff, and our special guests that we are saying farewell to this morning. It feels like a lifetime ago that I saw all of you boys and girls sitting in the theatre, and it feels like a lifetime ago that I saw all of you dressed so smartly in your number ones. Grade sixes, you haven't really had many opportunities to wear your number ones, but you're looking lovely and smart. Well done. Today is a special day because we get to acknowledge academics, we get to acknowledge effort. And effort is something that everyone can achieve. I'd like to start off by thanking the staff. You boys and girls know how hard you worked during lockdown. Let me tell you, the teachers worked even harder. You have no idea. During those April holidays, they worked extremely hard, making sure that everything was ready in case we couldn't come back to school. And of course, we couldn't come back to school. So I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank the staff of Cowan House. And not all of them are here today because some of them are teaching. And can I ask that if you see your teachers before Friday, you make an effort to say thank you, because their effort that they have put in is really, really immeasurable. So you know that I like acronyms, and so I've got an acronym for effort. So effort is E for energy and endurance. This year, you have had to put in a lot of energy. Going through a whole day, sitting in the classroom in straight stripes, wearing a mask on, requires energy. I know that sometimes you felt like you had too much energy, not being able to walk to different classes, but you actually had to have mental energy to stay focused, and endurance. During those days when you were working at home, having to carry on and stick to that computer required endurance. F for fearlessly tackling challenges. Everyone has challenges, but how do you tackle them? F for focus. Focus is needed all the time. O for opportunities. Do you grab hold of opportunities, or do you let them slide by? Reliability. Do you hand your work in on time? Do you complete your work? Do you have to be asked or nagged by teachers? And tenacity. Tenacity is another word for like strength and endurance, just a fancy word. So that is what effort is, and every single one of you can achieve it. Effort is best measured by yourself, but we also like to acknowledge you. So teachers look for different things, and I'm sure you also realize different teachers have different expectations of you, and that's part of life. In every opportunity, there are different expectations. So today we acknowledge children who have achieved outstanding in term 4. In grade 5, we're going to start off with, and I'm going to call you out in groups, and I know that you practiced the other day how you're going to come and achieve, how you're going to come and receive them. So in grade 5, with outstanding effort in term 4, Mila Armour, Kyra Clark, Amy Crooks, and Amaka Nwanko. Justin Sparrow, Michaela Tudor, and Lucy Wall. And for outstanding efforts throughout this interesting year, Daniela Cantarelli, Emma Godgold, Kiran Puramal, Olivia Clark, and Kiara Korf. Laura Ellis, Robert Green, Tana Kendall, Lena Roachbach, and Eleanor Ward.
Morning school. Gives me great pleasure to award a few sports awards this morning in a year when a lot of sport did not take place. It's wonderful to recognise these individuals. The first award is a cricket ball and plaque that is awarded to Matthew Smart for taking 6 wickets for 15 runs against Eston for the first team cricket. Heard just this week that Matthew McKenzie has been selected to the KwaZulu-Natal and 11 squash team, and we'd like to recognise him for this wonderful achievement. If you could come up and receive it. Tennis. The junior girls tennis champion in Martin Gogo. The junior boys tennis champion Finn Merrick. The senior girls tennis champion, Olivia Clark. The senior boys tennis champion, Matthew Bennett. In grade 6 and 7, we have the opportunity to award colours and honours awards for pupils who've been selected to the Umgungluvu district teams as well as the KZN provincial teams. This year in grade 6, we have 4 students who've been awarded colours for their different sports. For girls tennis selection to the Midlands tennis team, and for girls hockey selection to the Umgungluvu hockey team, Olivia Clark. Colours for swimming and selection to the Umgungluvu swimming team, Kian Lister. Selection to the Umgungluvu girls hockey team and selection to the Umgungluvu swimming team, Rachel Todd. Selection to the Umgungluvu athletics team, the Umgungluvu girls hockey team, and the Umgungluvu swimming team, Nina Rotenbach.
To academic awards. In grade 6 and grade 7, we acknowledge pupils who achieve an academic average of over 80% and above. In grade 6 this year, we've got a number of children, which is really, really incredible. Well done to each of these recipients, and I'm going to call you out in groups. With an average of 80%, Ali Lutka, 81%, Harry Porter, and Gus van Niekerk, 81%. While we are doing that, a reminder, anyone who receives any trophies, if you can stay behind after assembly for Mrs. Gray just to take a photograph of you with your trophies, and those children who are receiving these academic certificates, and you can also stay behind afterwards, these children that are performing out now. Kiran Piramal with 82%, Nina Rotenbach with 82%, and Denny Garden with 84%. our report with 89% and an incredible 90% by Robert Green.
Well done to all those boys and girls that have received certificates or trophies. It's really fantastic to see. Do remember there are people pushing from behind. Always acknowledge them. It's also fantastic to get together as a group to celebrate the staff that have served Cowan House so loyally over the years. And it really is, boys and girls, a tribute to your special school when you have staff members that stay for as long as they do. And during these tough times that we have had this year, it has been wonderful to watch our staff and just see them and see how dedicated they are to every little aspect that carries on at Cowan House. When in difficult situations and busy writing reports and busy trying to get magazine articles out, to still come and suggest ideas, suggest something that would improve Cowan House, suggest something that would make your life as students better at Cowan House, just shows that your staff are a dedicated group of people. To the hours that they put out there on the fields, people hopping onto lawnmowers, people making sure that the lines are marked for when you play, when we did play, making sure that our grounds look beautiful, when we have lightning storms, to make sure that trees get cut down properly, to make sure that walls are painted. It really just is great to see. And when I award long service, when I announce the long service awards that we have this year, you will see that there is something special about Cowan House that makes staff stay for as long as they do. So to all of you that are receiving, thank you very much for all you have done for our beautiful school. But to those that aren't, know that we acknowledge you and appreciate you too. So boys and girls, I'm going to ask you to put your hands together to just clap for all the staff at Cowan House and for the effort that they do. We have 3 categories now, and I'm going to ask the staff to walk forward and to receive their certificate from Mr. Brance, and also then to have a photo taken by Mrs. Clark. And we have 3 categories. We have 5-year service, and then 10-year service, and then a very special one at the end, which I'll announce in a minute. 5 years service, Mr. Neil Akel. Mrs. Sally Hellows. Mr. Mogiseni Henry Moore. teach down in pre-primary, you need energy. You think that you as grade 5 and 6s have energy, those pre-primary kids have a lot more energy than any of us have ever got. And really, these awards are very special. For 10 years service to our school, Mrs. Kim Anderson-Hall. For a lady who has more energy than me, more ideas than me, super creative, loves the school, is passionate about Cowan House, and has 20 years service at Cowan House this year. Thank you so much for all you do, Mrs. Sandy Owen.
Come to the part of assembly now, boys and girls, where we have to say goodbye to some people. And this morning I'm going to be starting off by talking about Miss Grenfell. So Miss Grenfell, or Miss G as she's known by the girls and boys, started Cowan House just over 2 years ago. She took on the role as a boarder mistress and interned in the senior primary department. She made the most of all opportunities, put a lot of effort in, and has spent time in every single grade. Her favourite subject to teach is geography, and she really enjoys getting outdoors and exercising on the road or on her bike. Miss Grenfell has reached the exciting part whereby she is now ready to spread her wings and go out into the real world and take on the profession of teaching. She's going to be qualifying at the end of this year, and she takes on a position at Wartburg teaching geography and in the marketing department. We wish Miss Grenfell well as she embarks on her teaching career and hope that the grounding she received here at Cowan House will stand her in good stead. Thank you, Miss Grenfell, for your time spent with us, and I know that girls in boarding in particular will miss you hugely. Thank you. You can come forward.
I know that the Board of Masters were putting bets on what I was going to say about them in the speeches last night. So here it comes. I think we did this one. I think we're just going to rename him Boomerang. Mr. Kramer just keeps coming back. Mr. Kramer volunteered his help in the pool this year when he was at a loose end and started hinting that he would like to come back if there was an opening, regretting his decision to leave us at the end of last year. Mr. Kramer joined us again in July this year as a teacher's assistant to Josh Moore, helping him out till the end of the year. And it wasn't long before he'd been roped back into the boarding establishment. Although not studying teaching, I do believe that this is where your strength lies, and there are many references to the big brother, Mr. Kramer, and the late night chats and feasts are a testimony to this from the grade 7s and 6s, especially the grade 7s in the speeches. Jordan, thank you so much for your help with Josh and for the love and care that you hand out willingly to the children in the boarding establishment. We wish you well, and we'll have your next contact ready sometime next year. Come asking again. Go well and enjoy your studies in Durban, or is it Pretoria, or I'm not too sure where it is. Jordan, come and collect your gift. Thank you. somewhat ditzy, somewhat of a scatterbrain, somewhat of a can't make a decision, can't sign a contract, don't know. Mr. Brown joined us at the beginning of this year, an already qualified teacher that was looking for experience and a change from the hustle bustle of Gauteng life. Farmer Brown arrived, and we realized that the village life of Hilton was far better suited to his way of life than that of the hustle and bustle of Germany. It wasn't long and Mr. Brown proved that we had a hidden gem, able to fill in when needed in many subjects and many grades, always willing and doubly keen. His passion in history and English brought on many a discussion taking place into the late hours of the boarding duty. I know he has loved using some of his own ideas in the grade 7 class over the last few weeks. Boarding will be quieter without you, sir. Your speaker blaring a vast genre of tunes from your room, or you hosting karaoke evenings with the boarders in the boarding house. We are also lucky now that less injuries and possible concussions will occur, as your late hours of Stalk the Lantern will sadly come to an end. Junior Dorm will continue your tradition of stories every night to get the youngsters to sleep. Your humour, love for children and passion for the job will be sorely missed. Renish and Stellenbosch are a blessed school. Go well, Jono, and may God make his face shine upon you. For the first 2 months of being at Cowan House, I had no idea who Mr. MT was. I knew who Mr. Talani was and who AP was, but I had absolutely no idea. But I can tell you, sir, that there are not many happy parents or staff around after hearing that you are leaving us after 3 years of quality service to Cowan House. And for that, we thank you. Never want to shy away from offering services and helping out. You truly have involved yourself in all that Cowan House has to offer. From the dunk tank, to pre-primary dance performances, to car guard duty on a rainy day, even though you're always around your right to me. I, for one, was educated and taught all I know about boarding, thanks to many hours spent chatting with you and sharing ideas in the master study, keeping you from some program about an island into You have been invaluable in boarding, and your move up to senior housemaster as boys boarding has shown that you have qualities far beyond your young years. The sports field and classes at Cowan House will miss your passion and commitment. Whips in Pretoria is the right move for you, Mr. MT. You will learn and grow. They say if you love someone, you have to set them free. We are doing that. But like any great pigeon, we await your return. Wiser, stronger, and ready to go. Be blessed in your venture, stay grounded in the roots of being caring, being reasonable, and just be yourself. God bless you.
Is unfortunately not here today for us to bid farewell to her in person, and we do think of her and send our condolences to her on the loss of her father over the weekend. But we do want to acknowledge her and say goodbye to her this morning. So Mrs. Yvonne Gerbers, started in a part-time capacity at Cowan House at the start of this year in the Afrikaans department, teaching grades 6 and 7 alongside Mevrouw Steenkamp. In her year here, she showed what a kind-hearted, caring and supportive teacher she was towards all the pupils that she came into contact with. She loved using music and drama in her lessons, and sitting in my little office, I used to love hearing the sounds of laughter coming from grade 6B classroom. during her Afrikaans lessons. And I know that her pupils certainly enjoy the lively and stimulating environment she created for them. We wish Mrs. Givers well in her future as she takes on a new position in a part-time capacity at the cottage school. So if we can, in her absence, just give her a round of applause.
Got strict instructions from Mrs. Winklejohn not to cry because she didn't want to take those from the old recipes. Staff, boys and girls, I sat for 2 weeks knowing that at some stage I was going to have to say something as a farewell to Mr. Hoyer. I tried to pass on the mantle to Mr. Brant, but he wasn't too keen and said that it would be right coming from me. I sat up late nights for the last 2 nights and I still haven't come up with much that I can say because there's just too much to say. I, for one, am extremely sad today because it's never easy to say goodbye to a colleague. It's even harder to say goodbye to a friend. I phoned Mr. Hoyer in November of 2018 and asked him if he had sent his CV to me by accident. It was 20 to 6 in the morning and I knew that he'd probably be awake. I was bowled over when he said he wanted to join us at Cowan House, and boy have we been blessed. Apart from the fact that in less than 2 years Mr. Hoyer has been made chairman of Inland Primary Schools Cricket and just yesterday was asked to join the Midlands Hockey Committee, a testimony to his standing amongst the sports people in KZN and South Africa and South African schools. A man who is at the top of the pile when it comes to directors of sport. The question is, was he right for Cowan House? Well, Mrs. Micklejohn loves the calm manner in which he deals with difficult situations. Mrs. Tiarden loves his assemblies. Who could forget that haka in the build-up to the World Cup and his recent commentary on the grade 7 sports games that actually never happened. Mrs. Hutton at first thought it wasn't such a good choice, but ended up being a fan and a colleague and was happy to do all his admin for him which he possibly could. And there's not an intern that will say a bad word about him, which is a miracle in itself, sir. Mr. Hoyer has found a place in everyone's heart. Thank you for making us all think a little differently. Somebody who is always willing to offer help. He has spent 102 days with me doing temperatures on parrots. We've got through a lot of talking. Somebody who thinks outside the box and is happy to have a conversation with you no matter what time or what day. Mr. Hoyer's mantra is 3-minute conversations. He walks up to people and makes sure that he tries to have a 3-minute conversation to establish a relationship. Mr. Hoyer never stops reading. For someone who can't really spell that well, it's actually quite good. He's always prepared to have an in-depth conversation about a new book that he's reading and has lent me many of which I probably have about 4 in my bookcase, so I'll get them back to you one minute. A loyal friend and someone whom I will take into the trenches with me, although that gout might slow him down a little bit, the pace that he walks at. Sir, we will miss you. However, your family need you, and it's time to make that final drive down the N3 back to Pretoria. We will see you again. To you, Tracy and Taylor, go and be with your family, my friend. We wish you all the best, and pray for God's hand over what life has in store for you. A little poem that I composed and used some words. But may the road to Hilton Village always rise up to meet you. May the wind of Black's Field be always at your back. May the sun that breaks through the Drakensberg Range always shine warm upon your face. And may the rains that fall on Emerson's and Wilkinson's quite often also fall on the fields in that suburb of Brooklyn. And until we meet again, my friend, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Hamba kabuhle, sihlobo sam kawe, utiko, kosi sikilele.
Lotte, for those kind words. Mr. Brand, staff and pupils, I'd just like to take this morning to say thank you and to follow on from Mrs. Micklejohn's acronym. I've taken thank you and just written something about it. The T is for time. Enjoy your time, and it's the one commodity that you can never get back. Don't waste your time, make sure that you're productive. There's some times where I just want to go back in time, not to change the past, but just to feel those warm, fuzzy feelings of all the wonderful memories I have. H is for hard work, because hard work beats talent when talent isn't working hard. A is for appreciation. Appreciate all the wonderful opportunities that you have, your parents, your teachers, your family, and your friends. I challenge you today to say thank you to somebody that you value. N is for never give up. Always give your best. You'll never regret it. K is for knowledge. Knowledge is power. Try and learn something new every day. And before you go to bed at night, try and reflect on something that you didn't know when you woke up in the morning. U is for youth. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. Enjoy your youth. Have fun and enjoyment, and at the same time learn responsibility, accountability, and empathy. O is for outstanding. Every single person I've met at Cowan House has been outstanding. You've all brought joy to the world and smiles to my face. U is for Ubuntu. The phrase coined by Desmond Tutu during the Reconciliation Commission. I am because we are. I'm a better person for my time in the Cowan House community. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Start and what do we say to acknowledge 43 years of teaching? I asked some of the staff if they had some stories about the first year camp. Unfortunately, I can't share them with you. They're just too naughty. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the first year camp. So the first year camp started her teaching career at Philadelphia High School, teaching grades 7 to 9. She then went on to George Cato Primary School. Then she had 9 years at Bisley before she came to Cowan House 6 years ago. In between, she has also owned, and can you believe it, run 3 preschools and been involved in a variety of extracurricular activities, from managing athletics teams, training a KZN netball team, yes, she kept this from us, true story, and getting involved in the cultural program in the different schools she has taught at. She has a dab hand at sewing, and one of the first things she did when she arrived at Cowan House was sew all her pretty curtains for the Afrikaans classroom. She took on the role of backstage manageress. Unfortunately, or fortunately, none of you here have had that experience, but those of us who have worked in the school play know her. She has a fly swatter in her hand, yes, and there's white tape, and lo and behold, if you step over that white tape, what I do know is that her side of the stage is always very, very quiet. I'm going to miss you backstage with Joe. Afrikaans was not all that Miss First Year Campus taught, and pupils always leave her class knowing a lot more about current affairs than when they stepped into her classroom. In fact, it soon became known amongst all of her pupils that if you didn't want to work, just ask her a question about something that's going on in the news, and before you know it, the lesson would become a discussion lesson and no Afrikaans would be done. Am I correct? Yes. I'm not sure if those discussions took place perhaps in Afrikaans, maybe. Mevrouw Steenkamp also spends, Mrs. Corral will attest to it, a lot of time in the photocopy room. And many days during the holidays, Mevrouw would be in the photocopy room long before all the other teachers, getting all her printing done well in advance. In fact, she does her printing a year in advance. True story. Organisation and preparation have always been a very, very strong point of Mevrouw's teaching. I skills? Yeah, that's an interesting one. It has developed hugely over the years, but we did have some interesting experiences during lockdown, boys and girls. In fact, the day before school started, all of us teachers had to set up Microsoft Teams. Now, bearing in mind, we had not had training. We were going to come back to school and do training. So for all of us, it was very, very stressful. We had all set up our teams. We were like excited about it. But for us didn't come. Somehow, I still don't know what she was actually doing, but she deleted all our class teams. So the night before school started, an urgent, I had these missed phone calls, and a message was sent out. All the staff had to redo their class teams. So yes, that was fun and games. Apart from being a dedicated and committed teacher with a wealth of experience, Linda is loyal, kind, and gentle, and has made many friends on the staff, and we are certainly going to miss her hugely. Mafro never does things in small measures, and frequently we have to monitor her for burning the midnight oil, and it is not strange to receive emails that she has sent long after everyone has gone to bed. She works till 2 o'clock, often. So, Mafro, the end of an era, and Mafro has made a decision as she reaches retirement age, although you would never say so by looking at her, that it's time for her to make some changes in her life. And she's going to be relocating down to the south coast, I am envious of that, where she will be closer to her other daughter and grandchildren. Live in a complex without a huge garden that she is having to manage herself, and I hope that you don't fight with your neighbours with her. And she will be doing some part-time teaching. Linda, you're going to be sorely missed at Cowan House. And just as this school has a huge place in your heart, so too do you leave a mark in our school. Thank you for your commitment, your loyalty, and your friendship. We will miss you hugely, but are so excited for new beginnings for you. Don't be a stranger to Cowan House and stay in touch. And I leave you with this quote: don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Oh my goodness. This is the day that I dreaded the most. Before I start, thank you, Mrs. John, for letting all my secrets out. But I remember the first day when I came, before I started to preach, when I stepped into this theatre. Children, you cannot imagine how strange this was to me. You know, in government schools, you don't have a theatre. What is a theatre? Theatre is a place where you have fun and you have music and you have... I didn't understand what was going on. And coming in here, it felt so strange. But you know what? I was sitting here today and I was thinking, I've become so fond of everything here at Cowan. I'm really going to miss it here. So let me start. Goeiemôre almal. Today, my heart is really breaking. And I'm going to try hard not to cry. It will be the last time that I will be saying that as Mafro at Cowan House. There is a saying, money makes the world go round, which is very true. There's also a saying, time is money. Time determines each and every person's life, and it makes the world go round. Time does not breathe, but it can fly. It does not have legs, but it can run. It does not have hands, but it keeps on ticking. It's not a doctor, but it can heal. The Bible tells us that there is time for everything. Today is the time for me to say goodbye. Thank you to Cowan House and its lovely children, parents and staff, for all the kindness you have shown me. The memories will stay in my heart forever. what is in my heart. It is called My Soul Has a Hat, and it is by Mario de Andrade. I counted my years and realized that I have less time to live by than I have lived so far. I feel like a child who has won a pack of candies. At first, I ate them with pleasure, but when I realized that there was only little left, I began to taste them intensely. I have no time for endless meetings, where the rules, procedures, and internal regulations are discussed, knowing that nothing will be done. I no longer have the patience to stand up to serve people who, despite their chronological age, have not grown up. My time is too short. I want the essence. I do not have much candy in the package anymore. I want to live next to humans, very realistic people who know how to laugh at their mistakes, who are not inflated by their own crimes, and who take responsibility for their actions. In this way, human dignity, I defend, is defended, and we live in truth and honesty. It is essentials that make life useful. I want to surround myself with people who know how to touch the hearts of those whom hard strokes of life have learned to grow with sweet touches of the soul. Yes, I am in a hurry. I'm in a hurry to live with the intensity that only maturity can give. I do not intend to waste any of the remaining desserts. I'm sure they will be exquisite, but more than those eaten so far. My goal is to reach the end satisfied and at peace with my loved ones and my conscience. I want to leave you with this thought. We have two lives. The second begins when you realize that you only have one.
school work. Thank you, Lord, for your love and blessings that we have as a school, as teachers and pupils, all who love to be here. Grant humility to give you all honor and glory for days like today. May those who have achieved be humbled, and may all of us strive to glorify you in all we do. Lord, thank you for the people you have divinely placed in our lives who speak holy truth, love, and words of wisdom. Give us a heart of discernment to know when you are using someone to speak instruction into our hearts and our circumstances. And give us the strength and courage to follow through with the advice, even when it's hard. Fill us with peace in knowing that even if we take a wrong turn, your purpose will prevail. In Jesus' name. Heavenly Father,
Almighty King, we praise you for all the blessings you bring, our beautiful